It's the very first morning of my honeymoon. My new husband and I are tangled up in the sheets like puppies. Our cabin in Lake Tahoe is cozy and warm, surrounded by tall Douglas fir and vanilla-scented Jeffrey pine. The sun is just starting to come in the window when the phone rings at exactly 7 a.m. My heart pounds from the sudden wake up, and as my husband answers the phone, I try to listen to who is calling, but I can't hear. No matter, now he's handing the phone to me. He says, "April, it's your brother." Sometimes you just know bad news is coming before it hits, and as I put the receiver to my ear, this is one of those moments. I know before I know. "Hey," I say. "Hey," my brother Dale says. "Mom's dead. She killed herself last night." June 19, 2006, 387 days before the suicide. "You guys, I'm engaged," I say. I'm laying on my back on a pink pastel couch in my little rental in Santa Cruz. The phone is cradled between my ear and my shoulder. My foot is resting on the windowsill. I'm on a three-way call with my little brothers. We often talk this way, with Dale calling from our childhood home in the Santa Cruz Mountains, where he lives with our parents, and Kyle's calling from Missoula, Montana. We three are the Johnson kids, tight from the very start. We've been teased at family gatherings and parties for only wanting to talk to each other. A tight bubble that's hard to penetrate. Now, at 22 and 25, they're my little brothers in birth order only. They tower over me, but I am so proud and protective of them. I can't wait for them to share my wedding with me. "Question for you," Dale says now. "Are you going to tell her?" Her. He's brought my mom into this conversation. Am I going to tell my mom that I'm engaged? I know one thing at this moment. I'm 28 years old, and I'm afraid of my mom. To know her is to know that she has two sides. There's the side that she shows the world. She's fun-loving, energetic, adventure-seeking. She's beautiful with these curls and green eyes shot through with gold. Her laugh is infectious, and in a crisis, she's the one you want. She springs into action. She's fiercely loyal. She'll never back down from a fight. But then there is the mom that she shows her family. I know the flash of her eyes when she's mad at me. I know the cut of her laugh when she's mocking me. I know the feel of her fists when she's fighting me. I spent my whole childhood trying to get my mom to love me. I thought if I was quiet enough, compliant enough, pretty enough, maybe she'd come around. But she hasn't yet. And so I'm trying something new. 10 years after moving out of my parents' house, I have a therapist. And for the first time, I'm telling someone that my mom is abusing me. The therapist's advice? She says, sometimes the only way to win a game is not to play. So that's what I'm trying now. 6 months ago, she hit me again, and I decided it was the last time. And I ceased contact with her. No visiting, no talking, no emailing, no texting. And so now my brothers are in the uncomfortable position of me swimming upstream. Our family motto, despite all the violence and all of the manipulation, has always been, "Don't rock the boat." But here I am, jumping out of the boat and swimming away. And so now my brother Dale wants to know, am I going to tell my mom I'm engaged? No, I say, I'm not. And from this moment forward, the wedding planning is on a strictly need-to-know basis. November 1st, 266 days before the suicide. Wedding plans are underway. Joe and I have decided that we're going to have a summer wedding. We want it to be outdoors. We want friends, music. I want to have flowers in my hair. I want to feel beautiful. I want him to have his breath taken away when he sees me coming down that aisle. I'm starting to imagine my dress, and suddenly my mom's voice is there in the back of my head. She says, "You can't wear white to your wedding. White's for virgins, not sluts." This isn't overactive imagination. No, this is my mom's voice, my mom's words, the thing she's been telling me since I was 15 years old. I try to push the memory away. November 24th, 245 days before the wedding, before the suicide. It's Thanksgiving Day. Joe and I are celebrating alone, and the phone rings. It's my brothers calling, another three-way call. This time they have news. They say, "Mom's planning your wedding." They say, "She has a ceremony all planned for you in the backyard, in the apple orchard." It's been almost a year now since I've talked to my mom, and hearing that she's planning my wedding is like a record scratching in my brain. Wait, what? My brothers are a mix of anxiety and excitement and eager for this to work out. Now we don't have to keep your secret anymore, right? Obviously you'll have the wedding in the orchard, right? Guys, no, she doesn't get to do this. But then I realized something. She can plan all the weddings she wants, but I don't have to go. You know, for a second, I thought she had done it, like my brothers thought. I thought she had hijacked my wedding, but her hold on me is starting to loosen. My fear is starting to evaporate, and I realize I don't have to do what she says. April 30th, 73 days before the suicide. My dad's apple orchard has bloomed and faded. The blossoms have dropped to the grass below, and no backyard wedding happened. It's been 15 months now since my mom and I have talked. July 8th, 3 days before the suicide. Tomorrow is my wedding day. My garage is full of flowers. My dress is pressed and waiting. The vows have been written. My brother Kyle has flown from Montana, and he and Dale have driven down from the Santa Cruz Mountains to attend my rehearsal dinner. They have one question for me. They ask, "Do you think Mom knows the wedding is now?" "Oh, definitely," I say. She always has had this way of knowing things. As a kid, I think that's a mom thing, but as an adult, I think it's a stalker thing. The only question is, what will she do? July 9, 2 days before the suicide. It's my wedding day. After makeup and hair and photos, I arrive at the site we've picked for the wedding in the limousine with my girlfriends. I scan the wedding guests, trying to look at every face and see if my mom is there, but I don't see her. Instead, my brother Dale is standing there ready to walk me down the aisle. And as he does, Joe's sister sings Etta James at last. And as we walk back out, hand in hand, husband and wife for the first time, she sings Nina Simone's Feeling Good. And I do. I feel good. I had the wedding that I wanted. July 11. The day my mom kills herself, Joe and I drive to Lake Tahoe to start our honeymoon. It's been 18 months since I've talked to my mom, 18 months since she put her hands on me, and I am overcome with a feeling of a fresh start. Meanwhile, in the Santa Cruz Mountains, it's 6 p.m. My parents have had dinner together, and they've decided to go to a movie. My dad clears the dishes and moves to the living room to put on his shoes. My mom pauses in the landing outside of their bedroom and checks her email on the old PC. Then, from the desk drawer, she withdraws a handgun, and she shoots herself in the head. The next morning, my brother Dale calls to tell me my mom is dead. So did she do it because of my wedding? I'll never know. What I do know is that she suffered from depression and borderline personality disorder. Her first suicide attempt was at 11 years old. In the years that followed, the decades that followed, there were many, some involving cars, some involving poison. It's actually remarkable she made it to 49. In the last year of my mom's life, I struggled to make a life of my own. I struggled to get out from under her shadow, to free myself from the fear of her. And so when she dies, I am a mix of emotion. I am grieving. I am hurt. I am so sorry. But I'm also angry and confused, and a measure of relief, too. I feel peace for both of us. I can go on now, unafraid, and she's no longer suffering.